The thumbnail for this video is the last photo of Chupacabra alive. He died at 12:06 a.m. on September 11th. He's in my son's bed, and that's my son sleeping nearby. In only a little over an hour after I took this photo, Chupacabra drew his last labored breaths and was gone. He was surrounded by family who loved him dearly, for what that's worth, and I was able to hold my tears back until his last heartbeat sounded, so that I didn't frighten him with my crying. But the tears came shortly thereafter, and they haven't really stopped either. I miss him so much, and my heart is completely broken off as I talk my way through this. I initially placed him in the bed because that was where he preferred to go to sleep when he was healthy enough to choose his own setting. He wasn't able to do that for a few days before dying. Chupacabra was not a dog that appreciated when I tried to make him sleep beside me when he was healthy enough to fight me off, so there was just no way I was going to go against those preferences when he was ill. I just wanted to clutch him against me and never let go, as if my encircling embrace could keep even death away from him. But his preference was always to be with either my spouse or my son, and as close to them as possible, with me being forced to keep a respectful distance. And what was that distance? Well, he would usually let me know with a growl when I was within the outer perimeter, and teeth would get bared by the time the inner perimeter was breached. So it was always clear to me when I had overstepped the limits of his permission. Given the choice, he would choose them 11 times out of 10 over me. I did my absolute best to keep that in mind when it came to where he slept when his mobility became limited by his worsening condition. It would have been beyond selfish knowing my little dog's personality as I did. So I tried to make decisions for him that reflected the truth of our relationship, especially when he couldn't make those decisions himself. His last few weeks of life were hard, to say the least. The last couple of hours were a crucible. But he died in what I would charitably call sleep, but was more a product of the internal bleeding caused by the cancer running rampant in his body, bringing on weakness and lethargy to the point of unconsciousness and then death. It was a sad state of affairs for a dog so full of strength and vibrancy for so much of his short life. And it hurts just to think about it. This isn't meant to be a eulogy for Chupacabra, or another eulogy, I should say. I did that when I was told he only had a few weeks to live. What I called a living eulogy back when Chupacabra came home from emergency surgery to a future as uncertain as it ever is, with his survival a looming question over every single day of our lives together from that point forward. Chupacabra outlasted all of the initial survival estimates, despite a prognosis that didn't offer much in the way of hope, or any hope, if I'm being brutally honest. I addressed all of that in the living eulogy that I made for him while he was still alive, but it's worth repeating. It's a testament to his resilience and the ability of that little dog to overcome so many of the challenges he faced in his time with me. I think I knew I wouldn't be able to do his life justice after he passed, so I made the effort while I still had him with me. And there's no amount of effort I can put forth that will equal the gift Chupacabra gave me when he came into my world. I owe that little dog my life. To state it in any other terms or to equivocate would be to dishonor our time together. I tried to make that clear in the first video, but diluted the message somewhat with tangents and digressions that muddled the message. So this coda is necessary to right that mistake. Chupacabra made my life viable at a time when I was content with letting it end. And in becoming that avatar of faith and hope and love, he also became the gateway to all the things that are good in my life now. And he did that as much in his last 18 months as he did in all 14 years he was my life companion. And he did it in true Chupacabra fashion too. Getting a terminal diagnosis of cancer, but living well past the time allotted to him by experts and precedent alike. Because not only did Chupacabra survive almost 18 months after he almost died on an operating table, but he thrived for many of those months like a dog that had never seen the inside of an emergency veterinarian clinic. Chupacabra was a special dog to me and many others. Outlasting his hemangiosarcoma prognosis served only to confirm that. But sometimes battles won turn into wars lost. And in the end, the cancer took him, despite heroic efforts to keep it at bay for as long as possible. But one thing cancer has an advantage over us in is time. Cancer doesn't need to hurry or be impatient. That's what makes it so hateful. Chupacabra started his downward slide right before I left for Leadville last month. The week I was set to leave, he had what appeared to be a seizure or maybe even a stroke. I remember picking him up and cradling him on my chest on our couch and whispering supportive words to him and gently singing soft songs to distract us from the sadness that was hanging over our pack. For the record, Chupacabra hated my singing. But singing is a coping strategy for me. It has been since I was a child, and I was coping. I almost canceled a trip that was years in the making and months in the planning just to stay close to him. But he roused himself the next day and improved enough to justify, or at least rationalize, my leaving. So I did. I wanted to take him with me, but the selfishness of that decision would have been unbearable in retrospect now that he's gone, and completely unfair to him when he was still with us. So I left him at home with his favorite people in the whole world. And while at home he ebbed and flowed, but recovered enough of his independence to give our family hope. It was short-lived hope, but it was still something. And when you feel like the end is near, you'll take anything. And the void now that he's gone is significant. But it's not just him that I miss. I will miss his effect on others more than anything. Being able to observe his interactions with people is everything that is wonderful about Chupacabra being part of our collective lives for me. The moments we shared will always be special. They're some of my favorite memories of the last 14 years, and maybe even my whole life. But the meaningful memories outside of what I have of the two of us will be in the minority compared to what it was like to see him interact with others. And I am already missing the things that will never happen again now that he is gone. The way his mom would have to rush in, urgently calling out his name right before he started to roll around in the dirt during family walks. That dog loved being covered in filth and could cover his whole body with nothing more than a tablespoon of dirt faster than you could blink. Or his dominance of friends visiting us, jumping up on their laps to place 2 paws firmly against their chests and staring right into their eyes until it was clear who was in charge. This is a dog that saw dominance as a gesture of affection. And you know what? People loved him back for it. His knack for what we would come to call spite pooping whenever he was denied something that he wanted by one of us. He would skulk into an office or a bathroom or even jump onto a piece of furniture and leave a few choice nuggets of protest. He once climbed onto a friend's ottoman and pooped on it because she told him to get off the couch when he was visiting. The open invitation for dog sitting when we needed it was abruptly rescinded after that incident. I could go on and on like this, but I won't. Chupacabra's interactions with friends and family members will forever be a part of my struggle of moving on without him. But what makes all of that more poignant than anyone will ever understand, and is almost beyond my ability to articulate in a way that will make sense for you, is that Chupacabra really didn't seem to like me. Seriously, he stayed close to me and we had lots of bonding moments, but he never saw me as his alpha. He always saw me as either competition or an obstacle, or as a necessary compromise because I controlled the food or the leash or the trips to the dog park. 14 years of companionship, and I'm pretty sure I was just a means to an end for that little dog. I was in the pack, but Chupacabra made it clear that anything resembling subservience would not be forthcoming. A friend checked in on me after hearing of Chupacabra's death. I'm going to repeat what I said to him because I think it's the best way to end this coda to Chupacabra's original eulogy. I do need to qualify that this is meant to be funny as much as it is about honoring the time we shared and the relationship we had. If you ever saw us together during his life, you'll understand why when I say this, I say it with a heart full of love. I don't think Chupacabra ever liked me, but I knew to the very center of my being that he loved me. He demonstrated that in his own peculiar way, unique to Chupacabra. And now that he's gone, that feeling is gone with it. I will miss him every day forward and remember him as the dog that gave me so much and took so little in return. And I will jealously guard and fiercely defend my memories of him against time and aging until I'm nothing but a memory too. If I ever get to see him again in some type of afterlife, I'll be sure to keep a respectful distance. Don't eat that. Come on. Come on. Go, go, go. Go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Where are we headed?